Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. He is Anthony Stabile. He just told me a harrowing story. Should we share the story?
No.
No? I'm very upset, actually, about what Anthony has put on me. It's very upsetting. Anyway, I'm Andy Serling, and we're in a very cozy studio here at Akron. We got 10 races to talk about, so we're going to get right to work. Talk about the card. Excited about today's card. Looking forward to the stakes as well, as I know you are.
Couple of good stakes races.
Yep, I totally agree with you. We'll look at NYRA Bets.
Wow, it was loud.
You got to get over to NYRA. Well, it's warm. I'm warming up.
It's warm.
Because you may have noticed I came in here a little bit charged up today.
Yeah, you were a little fired up today.
We use the promo code MATCH200. We will match the $200 of your initial deposit. Head on over to NYRA Bets. Keep the money in the game. We have the Pick 6 carryover, just under $25,000 in the Pick 6. Not an easy sequence to navigate. Not crazy winners by any regard, just a tough one to navigate. Overall, so we got the carryover. 6 wins for Manny Franco and 7 mounts yesterday.
That was something.
Yeah.
Some
Dylan Davis last one that did it. Richie was reminding me that. I didn't remember that. I think, what was the number Dave Grenig put in? Like 20, 18? Is that what it was?
People. Cawthon did it 3 times as a bug. Crazy as that.
Amazing. Ramon did it a couple times in Saratoga. He did 5.
Ramon did it. No, Ramon had 6 in Saratoga.
Was it twice, maybe even once? Twice in
Eric Cancel did it here.
Yeah, when he passed Kendrick,
beat Kendrick on the money for the title.
Tremendous achievement. Congrats to Manny as well as his agent John.
That's a lot. That's a lot. 6 for 7's. 6 for 7. 6 is amazing.
And they weren't exactly short price horses. They averaged $10. Middle pick 4 starts in race 4 today of our 10 race card. Pick 6 begins in race 5. We have the $15 bonus, 50 or more at Aqueduct, Oaklawn, and Santa Anita. Of course, Aqueduct and Oaklawn. We'll be showing those on You Got It, America's Day at the Races, 2:30 to 6. Maggie is back today. It'll be Greg, Maggie, and I here, and assorted other personalities just sort of spread around the country. You know, some reports from far-off lands.
Paul will be there, I'm sure.
Paul for sure, yeah.
Paul's doing a great job.
He is.
Paul's doing a great job.
He is. A lot of fun with Paul, absolutely. And Paul's down at Oaklawn, and it's 5 months at Oaklawn. All right, today's first race. We'll take a look at Winterpool winning here. What just seemed like days ago. It was my brother's birthday, actually, December 29th. In case you want to know all the Serling family members' birthdays.
I know yours.
December 29th.
I was broken up with on your birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
I've probably had worse happen to me. I think Destin losing by a nose and then getting DQ'd at 6-1 the next race is far worse than ever getting dumped. One saved me money, one saved you money, and the other one cost you money. Winterpool has run at a distance before. I don't think 1.8 miles is a problem. Linda's good off short rest. I have no argument against this horse. I kind of picked against him, but I don't.
I couldn't. You're braver than me.
He's probably just better than the sources. I just didn't want to take him at a short price.
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't have a problem.
I had no problem with him.
I was also annoyed because I was watching the race last time. I was home and thinking I should bet Winterpool in here. And I went,
You know what Linda's been doing lately? Linda's been doing this a lot the last 2-3 months. Besides winning, she's just running them back. Yep. She's striking while the iron's hot, and that's what you want this horse for 12.5. She took the horse for 32. Guess what? If you take him for 12.5 today, she's out.
Yeah. She almost must wonder a little bit if she's on a free roll because she didn't get claimed last time.
Correct.
But obviously, to be fair, there's something going on there,
Oh, 1,000,000%. But listen, people like Linda Rice are successful because when they realize they make a mistake, they try to eradicate it. They get out of it.
Right. If you talk to any claiming trainer,
they'll shake for this horse today. For 12.5, they'll shake.
I would think, but they didn't claim last time, and I think you and I would have guessed they would have claimed last time. To be perfectly honest, I don't disagree.
Right, but coming back in the 10 days, they're not going to be able to.
I get it, but I'm just saying we already would have been wrong. So keep that in mind.
That's true.
I don't love Goldini. I got lucky with him a couple starts ago, but he did win at the 2 turns here. I feel like he's going to be sitting outside of Kumar. I don't really know how good he is. I didn't like anybody else in here. I wanted a horse, if I'm going to try to beat the 4, that's going to be in front of him. You often talk about this. He should be sitting behind Kumar. I can't keep making excuses for Kumar.
No.
I know he got in a duel last time, but he dueled with Little Commissioner, did finish second. It just doesn't feel like he's got any magic left.
He's 7 years old already.
Yeah, we're getting old too, Anthony, Anthony actually turned 63. He's going to have his 64th birthday on March 31st. In case anybody out there doesn't know.
I got hit on by a 29-year-old waitress
March
last night,
March 31st is Anthony's
46.
birthday. March 31st.
I'll be
Mark
46.
it down.
Do not
Begin
be giving
saving
me
your
any
pennies.
more years, my
There's somebody
friend.
out there who has some extra change. That person might want to contribute as well.
Use it now.
Race number 2. And we're going to show the replay of Scaramanga, who you do not have on. You don't have your top 4?
No, I don't like this
Kelly
horse.
Breen? Do you know where this name comes from?
No.
Okay, we'll discuss it after the race. Source involved in the pace. The winner was the speed, was a first-time starter. I'm assuming a Gervin. This is the most surprising, terrific first-year sire. It's a Saffie Joseph horse.
Yes.
They ship up here as they should with a New York bred. It's the right move to do. He's the speed. Gee, I thought he was the horse to beat. You don't have him in the top
I don't like.
four.
I found the whole thing weird. Why was he down there?
He was probably already down there.
Oh, he was training at Palmettos.
He was probably training down there, and they said, okay, he's a New York bred and now belongs with New York breds.
Yeah. All right. Maybe. I don't know. Not for me. Barn's been very, very quiet. That Barn's been very quiet.
Okay. I couldn't leave him at the top four. I think he's the horse to beat in here.
Okay.
You're going to try to get another Mott Firster home. You figure now that he's won with two, you're going to go to the funeral.
So I heard on the filly, and then the Colt one paid the big price, and I heard on this horse.
You heard on the filly. The filly was even money. The filly was a $500,000 horse. The filly was a $500,000 horse. You needed to hear on that one?
I'm just letting you know. I did not hear about the Colt.
My Ford sang to me. It went.
I did not hear about the Colt.
Andy.
I did not hear about the Colt. I heard about the filly, and I heard about this one.
Okay.
So I put this one on top. Yeah, there's a tip.
Radio Red.
Yeah, so there was a push on this horse first time out. He took a ton of money into Arctic Arrogance.
You lost my mic?
Still lost my mic? He didn't run well at all. Yeah, what's the matter? Dead?
Ask them if they can hear my mic.
Can you guys hear Andy?
Okay, we're going to take a break, Andy.
All right, take a break. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more Talking Horses after we fix Andy's mic.
Almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Okay. Seems like it's working again. Weird. Sorry about that. You were saying about the 3 Radio Red.
Yeah, took some money first time out. There was a little push right into Arctic Arrogance, who's going to be one of our favorites, if not the favorite in the Jerome later on today. Our first point race of the year. Yeah, he'll be the favorite, right? Yeah, I had a little push on this horse first time. He did not run well at all. Yeah, did not.
Are you sure you want to tell people you had a tip on this horse when you're telling people to bet the 5 because you have a tip on him?
I had a tip on this horse first time.
I know, and he ran 6, beating 18 lengths.
So I put him. Well, yeah, I mean, muddy track, something obviously gone 4 months. Maybe he went shins. I don't know. I didn't get a story.
Okay. The number 7 horse, American Grant, for a Bruce Brown. Wow, I'm just losing my mind. Horse to have taken as much money as this horse did at 15-1 even. I think that's bet a little bit. And I thought this horse was very interesting. Broke about 3/4 of a length slow. Spent most of the race down on the rail. The rail was absolutely not the place to be that day, and I thought this horse was extremely interesting in here. Quick Chaos came back to win yesterday. The 3rd horse improved 4 points. That's a pretty live race, and I think this horse is very, very interesting in here. Been Good to Know You for Charlie Baker on the outside. This horse was chasing Don't Lose Cruise and Mariachi. I don't even know what. I called it, there was some ridiculous name in the show yesterday. After breaking a little bit slowly in there, I thought this horse did some running in there. So I want 7s and 9s with the logical 6, but American Grant is one that I am interested in. Race number 3. I don't know about you, but I found race number 3 to be just borderline ridiculous. Now, the scratch of the 7, Fenway, changes the race because it takes a speed out, and a speed that wasn't a super likely winner in here. And that's going to help horse like Charger, who I picked 3rd, and I actually mildly considered moving him up. I left my picks as they were because I do think that Sinan and the 4 Holy Matrimony should show a little bit of speed in here. There's basically 2 logical horses, I thought, in here.
The 5 and 6.
The 5 and 6. I picked Skylander. Here's his win 3 back. He came back just 2 weeks after this race against Better Horse, and a race that was won wire to wire. And then last time out, he didn't run well last time out, but he is getting class relief. He's dropping substantially, and if he can run a race like this, I thought he could win.
Yeah, I just went to Blue Grotto, cutting back to the 1-turn mile. Races, the 2-turn for a horse like him who just drops out the back, you figure that the 2 turns and the added distance would help him. They don't. And he ran into Tonal Impact, who came back to run okay in the allowance race on Thursday, when he kind of got beat by the racetrack, right? I mean, Gasoline re-rallying up the inside. That was one of like 3 re-rallies along the rail. I don't know. I am not the biggest Skylander fan. I still don't know where he ran that race on October 8th.
Oh, I loved him that day.
I know you did. I know you did. I still don't know where he ran that race. He hasn't come close to it. So
what was? Wait a second. What was wrong with his Keep Me in Mind race? His race in Saratoga was absolutely good enough to win this. I mean, Blue Grotto can win. The problem with Blue Grotto is
the problem with Blue Grotto is he's
unreliable. It's the same horse. He's dropping back down to the same, to a level he won at. And Skylander actually beat some better horses. I just think one of these horses is going to win. Maybe not.
I split him with Holy Matrimony, and I got a soft spot for him. I feel now with the scratch, he's probably the one that benefits the most.
I don't know about that. Okay, we'll see what happens. Race number 3. Race number 4. I think in race number 4, while he can win, you're supposed to bet against Today's Flavor, the horse on the rail. His TVs all went blank.
I don't know.
Some issue here.
It's all Aqueduct Blue, though.
We'll take a look at Today's Flavor winning last time out. This was a strange situation. We sealed the track right before this race. Now, the last race was run fairly, but the way this was run, I don't know. And this horse just ran off, but I'm not convinced. I think this horse is okay, but I think he's a little vulnerable. And the other key to him today is he's not making the lead in here unless a number of horses fall down coming out of the start, particularly Foolish Ghost. And I think it's reasonable to ask, is he going to run as well as he did in his last 2 starts where he was able to control on the front end?
He's supposed to have some company here, right?
No, he's about the 4th fastest horse in the race. I mean, Winner's Laugh is faster than he is. Frankly, Phantom Ghost is faster than Smoke is faster than he is. Foolish Ghost is absolutely faster than him, and so is Victory Built. He's not that fast, this horse. None of those paces he's been involved in have been fast. He's not that fast. Now, that's not to say he can't win rating, but it is fair to point out he lost some races at short prices when he tried to rate.
He did.
He still ran bigger figures in those races, so it's not as though he ran badly, but his wins have been wire to wire. And on paper, unless this is one of the most poorly ridden races of the entire decade.
He's not supposed to be in front.
He's not in front. He's not even close to the speed in this
He's not
race.
supposed to be in front.
So
he's not supposed to be in front. I just think he's better than those horses.
Well, I don't agree. I think he's very vulnerable in here. I won't be shocked if he wins. I didn't really like anybody else.
I mean, the only problematic race on his card was when he had all the trouble in his first New York start.
I think he's going to be an extraordinarily short price, and he's vulnerable. You don't agree.
No.
I think Silly Key is extremely interesting in here. This is a horse that Linda had done well with earlier in his career. He kind of lost his form a little bit, but he seems to have gotten it back. I'm certainly not going to hold his last race against him. A race that was just a runoff that was run faster than a stake race was run later in the day. I thought his race 2 back was okay, and his race 3 back behind Greeley and Ben makes him very, very contentious in here. He's supposed to get some pace to run at, and I thought Silly Key made a lot of sense in this race. Race number 5. I thought this was another race that a little bit on the tricky side. We have a carryover, pick 6. Thank you, Anthony. Just under $25,000 in that carryover pool. And
we'd like to see 24,942, right? This way it would have been palindromic. It just missed.
I like that.
Just missed. $18.
Wow.
Somebody should have fired it. Now don't blame me.
Somebody with a lot of extra change running around could have been $18 into the thing.
This guy don't stop.
You've taken a horse that's probably going to be in front in some.
My change was taken out of my car last night, folks, as well as my racing form and a couple of other things on the front seat.
So if you hear some jingling, if you hear a lot of jingling from somebody walking around the track today, anyhow,
my Met hat survived. Surprisingly, my Met hat survived.
So there's a chance that Carlos Correa broke into your car.
He wasn't leaving New York without something.
Anyhow, that is a strange story, by the way. Talk about From Another Mother.
So I'm against a little bit the horses coming out of the Swift Tap race.
Well, let's show the Swift Tap race, because I am too.
I'm against this, Swift Tap coming into this race.
It's a 5-horse field.
And it's funny, because it's the biggest buyer he's ever ran. But you kind of feel like he absolutely went backwards off the race 2 starts back. There were 2 late scratches in here. He found himself on a pretty pedestrian lead, getting chased around there by Dr. Love, who was completely out of his game on the chase.
And if you don't know Sinan, look at him, look at his PPs in the earlier race today. I agree. And I'll show you another thing. And I'm a big fan of Michelle Nevin and the work she does, but her numbers off the claim, how about this? Now, 9 didn't hit the board, so there is some randomness to it.
Almost half of them.
But still.
Now, I don't have this stat, obviously, but I can tell you this. The way Rob Attras's barn is going, I don't know if I want anybody taking horses off of Rob Attras. And you put that stat up combined with that, this horse is a vulnerable. I don't want to say he's the favorite.
I think this horse is vulnerable for a zillion reasons outside of the intangibles. Yep. I agree, but talk about From Another Mother.
So I went to From Another Mother, who, I don't know, I kind of feel like he's just found his comfort zone. Right, they were banging this horse's head against Graded Stakes Company and the allowance ranks. And
that's a nice way, Ray, of saying you were running him in wrong spots.
He was running him over his head. I mean,
you were not doing your job. You were running him where he didn't belong. We got the food.
Bring him the pizza.
We got the food. We got the pizza and the booze. We can insult you now.
Yeah, we're good now. This horse I thought kind of found his friend. He ran at the Skylander the day you loved him, and nobody was beating Skylander that day. And then he came back, and he got the job done.
I think he's in a tougher spot today. But
I don't disagree with that, but I still think he's in the friend zone as opposed to where he was, which was out of his element a little bit.
I like Colloquy in here quite a bit, actually. I think this horse ran actually very well last time. He was jammed down on the inside. I know the horse who was second there was on the inside, but I'm still not sure it's the best place to be. He never got a chance to make that comfortable run. The horse who actually was outside of him came back and won, surprisingly, in his next start. So I actually thought he ran fairly well in there, all things considered. That was that horse that won last weekend at a very big price. He's second off the claim. I think more distance is not going to be a problem for him. I think Colloquy makes a lot of sense.
Broke his maiden going a mile and 16.
Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense in here, and I like his chances.
His bigger figs were actually, until last time, his bigger figs were actually going longer.
I'm interested to see what Linda does with Complete Agenda. And I wonder if cutting him back to a one-turn mile could actually suit him a little bit in here. He has no speed, but I have a feeling his horse is going to do okay for Linda.
I have a feeling cutting him back and cutting him are going to play a big role. I imagine that's the next step.
We'll see what he does.
Because he just walks out of the starting gate.
He doesn't have any speed.
No.
See what happens in here. I don't know if cutting him's going to give him some speed. We'll move on, and we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back for the late pick 5.
Oh, man.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
I didn't realize the call went through.
We're good. Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, race number 6, maiden Spelterini. I have to imagine will be the favorite. This is the first race that she ran, and it's a funny discussion, and I don't really know the answer, but I remember talking about this fig a lot the day of the race, because it came up a super fast race, and it seemed too fast. Now, obviously, Chocolate Gelato came back and ran a huge figure and then won the Frisette. So it wasn't too fast for her, and others have run okay. It's just hard to judge, really, how good it was. The winner never came back, but he's in that field somewhere with 300 Wesley Ward horses that ran once or twice that never appear again. Then the horse ran into just tougher horses in the races. Depending on who the firsters here, you have to regard this horse, but I'm not going to pick on top. I'm going to pick among the firsters.
No.
We picked the same horse going.
Yeah, I was told that there was an Intermischief in Saratoga, a filly that was going to be lights out.
It wasn't her.
Oh, I was told that it was.
Oh, okay.
I was told it was the Spendthrift one, and she got hurt. And she missed some time, and now she's back, and I just went there.
Okay. I think the reason that I like this horse is that if you look through the pedigree on this horse, she's all turf. And even though you can say, well, Intermischief's not turf, he is actually. I think he was one of the top 5 sires in the country of turf horses. He's just a good sire.
Just a good sire,
better
period.
dirt sire, but he's getting turf horses. And for Chad Brown to leave this horse here in the winter, when he could have gone down to Florida and run at Tampa, or even run at Gulfstream, to me is a sign he must think this one's a dirt horse, so that's why I took this one. Spelterini, fabulously funny. I have third, you have second. Anything?
No push. I wish I had a push.
There were some runners from the dam side. You got one foal that was okay, 2 that ran buyers in the 80s. It's a practical joke. They've been runners. Tony had a lot of success with first-time starters last year, so I have this one in there as well.
Grass mostly, but yes.
$400,000 for Trying My Heart Out.
That was a little cuckoo, right?
70 and 80 buyers from the dam side. The second dam was a very good horse. I think the second dam was that Hollywood Story, that John Sheriff's horse.
John Sheriff's horse?
Yeah. But this is the second fall. The first one was
She got some fast works.
See what happens in race number 6.
A couple of 47s, one out of the gate, one from the pole. Barn doesn't really win with firsters, though.
Race number 7. Uno's running tomorrow, so I knew a couple of those would come out, but I thought this was a very hard race.
Yeah.
For those of you who are wondering about this race, this is the last race that was run, that was going to be run last week when we canceled.
This was the sixth race.
Without fog. Do you know what is significantly different about this week's race than last week?
Yeah, Warstopper.
Do you know why?
No. What do you mean? Well, he ran.
No. Well, the horse that's not running in here that was going to be a heavy favorite was 9 years old. And he was allowed to run last Saturday, but now he's not allowed to run this week. Things that make you go, okay, there's plenty of them. It's horse racing.
Wow.
Anyhow, Musical Heart. I wouldn't bet, if somebody said to me, here's $100, Andy, you can bet on Musical Heart to win, or you can not take it. I would say, please give it to
That's not an option.
Thoroughbred
You just can't
Retirement
take
Fund.
it.
Please find some horse charity, the chaplaincy,
Anthony
somebody
Stabile, mini
best,
golf lessons.
somebody that deserving party. Because if you're betting this horse off a 1.5-year layoff, running for $25,000, then you need help.
But if you're playing a multi-race wager, you're going to let him beat you?
I think it depends what I'm doing the other legs, Anthony. My guess is if I really got involved, which I won't, I would have this horse as a C because I'd rather spend my money.
But you'd have him involved.
My C, so he'd be a very tiny part of it at most, depending on how much money I was putting in.
See, my problem here is, and
otherwise, if I was playing just like 1 ticket or 2 tickets, I'd let this horse beat me.
Okay, so let's.
That's who I am.
We have a couple of minutes.
Not really,
okay?
but let's move on.
There are horses in here that are just completely off form. You're taking a shot with a horse that's going to be a big praise.
We're getting to the basis of how you may handicap and I handicap. I don't look at races that way. I look at it and I say, how do I feel about the short-priced horses and how do I want to deal with them? And the first thing I say is, well, I'm not taking a horse off a 1.5-year layoff that got really good off the claim for Rob Atras, that has now been laid up a 1.5 years and is coming back running for a quarter. I'm not betting a horse like that. That horse beats me.
I'm not betting them either, but I'm not letting them beat me.
I'm letting him beat me.
Okay.
It depends on putting. If I was putting $300 into the pick 5 and I was playing a lot of multiple tickets,
well, that's a
he'd
different
be
story.
in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing a $54 or $72 ticket, no, he's going to beat me.
You're letting him beat you on a $72 ticket.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't like this horse.
Okay.
And if he wins, I'm going to lose. I'm not thrilled with Warstopper. I would use Warstopper in here, and we'll take a look at his win 3 back. I got to tell you something. This horse. There's a siren going off about this horse.
Listen, he's dropping.
Dropping?
Yeah, I
Played it for 62.5 2 back.
it.
He didn't run that badly last time.
I got it, but that barn had success in the past as well by cutting
going 6
cutting
furlongs.
pace. Yeah, he had no chance last time.
I mean, to be honest, this has a massive odor about it. And you say that.
Oh yeah, you can have him.
David
no
Jacobson's
question about
numbers
it.
dropping down 50% of the dirt. They're not bad. They're atrocious.
You can have him. I don't disagree with that at all. He's got
Can't say
tape me written all over.
He ran
him.
okay last time. He was actually running at the end of a race where absolutely nobody was picking up any ground.
Yeah.
He's 4 for 29. This is recently and before he came back. This is not a move you want with David. And, one of the reasons I think we lost in the game, he claimed a lot of horses, a lot of money, and dropped them down significantly and didn't do well with them.
No.
So him I would use because he's run well at least recently. But I can't pick this horse on top. The problem is, and I get it, I know you picked them 1, 2. I'm not picking either one of these horses.
Okay.
Because I know one thing. If I'm going to bet some money in this race, win or an exacta, I'm not keying either one of those horses. So I'm going to pick somebody else.
Okay, so this is a race I would not bet vertically.
I'm going to bet a few dollars in it.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
gonna bet against them.
you like a 20-to-1 shot. You kind of have to.
I'm starting to look through the field and I'm trying to decide who can play. Okay, I can't play it's mandatory. I think Perceived is a little bit interesting, but because he's an entry with Runabout who has little to no chance in here and is going to take some money, I can't bet him. I can't bet entries. Okay? I'll get back to Microscope. Grunfeld Talk could win this race. He's not impossible. He's in decent form. Bourbon Bay last time wired him. Hammer and Ammer. The logic for Hammer and Ammer, who you have third, is when Gustavo Rodriguez claimed him back at Belmont a 1.5 years ago, he transformed him from a horse that couldn't get out of his way into a monster. The problem is Gustavo Rodriguez was winning a lot of races when he claimed this horse, and he's not exactly winning a lot of races these days.
He's falling off. This horse is falling off. I'll tell you one thing.
He's not impossible.
He's Hickory. He doesn't miss a layoff. There's no layoff lines on his card. His races are well spaced. And he's my third horse. I will be using all 3 of them.
I could throw him in.
Yeah.
I think Pit Boss is not uninteresting. He's just not fast enough anywhere. There isn't 1 or 2 races. The only reason I throw him in.
If you're using him, you're using him because of the barn.
Exactly, because their horses have been running here.
I agree.
So let's take a look at horoscope. All right. horoscope, microscope, excuse me. I looked at my horoscope and it said bet microscope.
Oh, horoscope was the New York bred wire to wire Dave Canizzo trainer. Remember him?
Microscope, yes, has some back races that give him a chance to be a player in this race. Last time out, he was going 6.5 furlongs in that gemography field, coming off a 9-month layoff.
chance.
He had absolutely no chance in there. He's better with more distance. You don't have to go that far back from having some races that can fit, and he's going to be a gigantic price. Do I like Microscope? No. But do I mind losing $40 on him? No, I don't mind losing a few dollars betting on a horse like this at a big price.
If you can get him home in a pick 4 or a pick 5, he's a giant separator.
And let me also say something else. Will I have if I bet $40, would I have a $2 or $4, 7, 6?
Of course.
Yes, I would have that. You can't discriminate when you're betting on horses like this if you're betting them straight. It's a very different decision you're making than betting on it. I don't like that horse, but if he runs first or second, I want to make money.
But it's involved in the pick 4, the pick 5, and the pick 6, so I have to try to navigate my way through it. I'm going to do it with the 7, 9, and 10.
Who's your favorite winner of the Jerome?
Fusaichi Pegasus.
Remember who ran second, third, and fourth in that race?
I remember standing with Steve Flisaris on the first floor making I had a
You really don't remember in second, third, fourth?
No.
El Corredor, I don't care what you bet.
El
Corredor ran second. Albert the Great, who in his next start won the Jockey Club Gold Cup by 10 lengths over older horses, ran third. And Hook and Ladder, the mid road for Kimmel, was a very good
Labor
horse.
Day 1995. $1,000,000%.
You know who called it?
He ran against him.
You know who called it? The I-Man. Johnny I called that race. It was a grade 1, actually then. My favorite one is a Fleet, when he beat Stacked Pack. I remember seeing a Fleet in the paddock at Belmont, first time I ever saw him. I loved a Fleet.
Who was the...
Fleet's a forgotten, enormous talent.
Lord Carson was one of the Lucas sprinters. Perfect Spiral beat him in an allowance race before that race. I crushed the pick.
We'll take a look. We'll take a look about. We're not. We'll talk about Arctic Arrogance to start it out here. And guys, we're going to move the last video to second, if you guys don't mind, because Anthony and I both picked Neural Network.
Did you guys change the pictures? Did you move forward off the race? Because those picks looked completely wild just now. Well, all right, we'll figure it out.
So, in other words, I don't have the 11 third in the Jerome?
Yeah, right. Well, you saw that too, right?
We do have, no, I didn't, but we do have people here that have been known to pick numbers of horses that were in the race, but that's another discussion. Okay. I thought Arctic Arrogance ran great in this race. I'll tell you something else. I don't even know that you really necessarily wanted to be inside. I don't think it was a dead rail, but this was terrific. But the problem for Arctic Arrogance is, and I don't have an argument, is that there's a lot of speed in here.
There's a lot of speed in this race.
In a lot of ways, if you're Linda Rice, I think you're happy about that. Because if you're going to figure out what you're doing with the Arctic Arrogance and you're running the Jerome and you're thinking maybe in a wild dream I get the Derby with this horse, you're going to have to at some point figure out if he can stalk horses.
Agreed.
So he gets an outside post, he's drawn outside of the speeds, and he can stalk. And you know what? If he stalks and he doesn't win, okay, now you've answered the question. Now you have different options going forward.
And if you continue on and you want to run him in a Remsen around the 2 turns stretching out, you put him back on the front end.
If you want to run him in the Remsen around 2 turns, you got to get a time machine.
If you want to run him in the Withers, you put him back on the front end. Yeah.
After I went to the Cornell Dead Show in 1977, I have to figure out where I'd go in the time machine with my second visit. I do think he's the horse to beat. I don't think you disagree. As far as Neural Network, we'll show his maiden win. Why did you pick him?
I love the fact that he was able to rate off the pace. I figured there would still be some moisture in the racetrack, which there is. It's labeled muddy. I like that race. I think these horses are going to be okay.
Because Bourbon Chase has now lost a short price in 2 straight races?
I still think the overall feel is, I thought it was a decent field.
I don't think it was.
Oh, okay.
But they've just done nothing. So they're okay. But they're just okay.
I think they're okay.
They're not particularly good.
I think it's one of the better maiden races we've run here.
I don't.
Okay.
It was a New York bred race. It was a mediocre New York bred race. Okay. It was okay, but it was no better than yesterday's race. I mean, he was better than them. The others weren't. But he's supposed to get pace to run at. And he ran fast enough that in his second start, he can theoretically improve. There is plenty of pace on paper in this race. He's not so slow that if everybody grabs, he can't be in contention, but there's supposed to be pace in here. And he doesn't have to improve that much to win, especially if you're not convinced that the 6 can't run as well without the lead, and he can run a little bit slower. But, I mean, I don't want to knock Arctic Arrogance. He ran a big race last time.
Giant race. Giant race.
But I'm just hoping he gets some pace. Lugan Knight is going to take a lot of money in here. The problem with Lugan Knight is he's got a lot of speed to deal with in this race. He's going to stretch out as a horse with speed, and he's got Andiamo Firenze, who we'll get to in a moment. And we'll look at Lugan Knight's last race. Now, to be fair, He lost a horse that came back and ran a 91 Beyer, winning the Smarty Jones in his next start for Brad Cox, under ideal circumstances, but still ran a 91 Beyer. He's going to start running faster. And Two Eagles River, the horse who ran third, he lost as a heavy favorite, but he didn't run badly.
He did not break well.
Yeah.
When he
that's right. He got left. You're right. Good point.
Mistletoe, whatever that race was. Yeah, he did not break well, and he was still
Remembrance, or it was something like
the
that.
Renaissance.
Very
good. Yeah.
Well, I said Remembrance.
He was. I just got the.
I was mediocre.
I needed the.
You were very good. I just worry about him getting caught up in the pace.
They've been talking about this horse for grass. And they decided to keep him on the dirt. The grass actually looks good. I got a good view from my office. The outside paths look great.
Yeah.
Better than some courses that are in use right now.
Not that hard. We've got a secret weapon.
They've been talking
His name is Glenn Kozak.
Yeah, they've been taking, and Brian. Don't forget about Brian. They've been talking about moving this horse to the grass. And I guess they wanted to give him one more shot, try and get some points, see if he's worth keeping on the dirt. Yeah, and look, he's coming out of the sprints, and in theory, he's as fast as the other speeds in here, but he's been able to make moves from off the pace.
Well, he's been doing it at 6 furlongs, and he's only 1 for 3.
Yeah, I got it, but I'm just saying it's not like he's coming in here with all one saying, he's going to be.
That's fair. That's fair, but I wonder stretching out to a mile.
He's supposed to be forward,
breaking inside of Andiamo Firenze, and we'll show Andiamo Firenze coming back 2 weeks after the Champagne and losing to Acoustic Avenue at Finger Lakes, because no show would be complete without a trip to Finger Lakes. I don't think this horse wants a mile on a flat bed.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's fast, but I do not think he wants a mile. Yeah. Maybe he doesn't want a mile now.
You've learned after the Champagne.
I mean, he just does not. It doesn't look like.
By the way, Kelly Breen, you said he hasn't won a race. He won a race.
No, I didn't say he hasn't won a race. I said the barn's been pretty cold.
Yeah, okay, because he did win last week.
He won that at Jerusalem.
The 20-1 Morning Line horse.
They paid $8.
$10. Be fair.
This horse right up here. This was a bang-up race. You could argue this might have been his best race because he came back in the 17 days. He had a ship. He was battling around a racetrack.
Maiden Win was pretty good.
Yeah, Maiden Win was pretty good. But
I wonder if he's a horse that was precocious, that's okay, that hasn't really gone forward. And I don't think he wants to be part of a mile, but he probably is the speed of the speed.
Yeah.
The 9th race, the Queens County, is the same race last week, except for whatever reason, Bourbonic didn't scratch this week. Does he not like the fog? Was that why they were scratching last week? And there is an addition of Eloquist. We lost Ride with Biden, but I'm not sure he was going to run anyway.
He wound up running at Laurel during the week.
Yeah, he was entered at Laurel. No, it's closer to the White House. It was an easier trip back home. He basically ran out of his stall.
The presence of Eloquist almost had me put Bourbonic on top. I came very close. Because I think it adds more speed in here.
Eloquist couldn't be near the lead in this race unless horses fall down out of the gate. I mean, Thomas Shelby and Seafoam are much faster than he is.
I'm not saying they're not faster, but he has enough speed where if it's used, he can be forward.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing you explain how Bourbonic can win this race. Law Professor, you have on top, and I have second. We'll show him running second in the Woodward. Feel like we've had this discussion before a few times. He's just a horse to be. He's kept good company.
We had it right around exactly a week ago right now.
And 8 days ago as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, he's just, again, claimed by Rob. Right into the Woodward. It was kind of a funky race, but he ran great. And last time out, I thought he ran a sneaky good race in that Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile as well, behind Cody's Wish and Cyberknife. There's not really much. If you want to talk about a horse getting class relief, this is it.
He's getting class relief. I don't doubt it. I prefer Unbridled Bomber. We'll take a look at his win last time. I've been very impressed with him, and I think what I was most impressed was that he ran back-to-back 94 Beyers. The time before, he got a fast pace to close into the collapse, and he got a racetrack that was very kind to his running style. Not the case this day. He ran terrific in here. Yeah. This is a horse that has just come to hand for Jimmy Ryerson. And I think there's a chance that Unbridled Bomber is the kind of horse that could really put things together for Jimmy in 2023. I'm not saying he's going to end up at the top of his class, but there's plenty of room in this division. This guy doesn't have to improve that much to be a player.
Were you surprised when you looked at the form and realized he was only a 4-year-old? I felt like he's been around longer.
No,
I just felt like he's been
ran
around
the Jerome
longer.
last year.
Yeah, I just felt like he's been around longer.
And why shouldn't Jimmy Ryerson have a good horse named Unbridled something? Because, of course, he was the original trainer and through much of his success with Unbridled Song.
Yeah, Nick only had him for the last 2 starts, right? 3 starts?
2. He lost here on Cigar Mile Day, and then he won the Olympic
three-horse
field.
Weirdest thing about
injured.
that race?
I was there.
Gulfstream allowed trifecta wagering.
Well, that's because they had a higher takeout. Anybody stupid enough to bet a trifecta in a 3-horse field with the highest takeout of any bets. I hate to say it, it was a criminal move by them, but it was not exactly a smart move by anybody that bet it. And now you bring it up, I remember that, and we joked about it a lot.
Believe it.
The time I was there.
One of the best horses I've ever seen.
He was a
tremendous. People talk about
tremendous
underrated racehorses.
Don't understand.
No, people don't understand how good that horse was.
Eloquist winning the Discovery. He's obviously improved. I don't want to just turn my nose up at any horses for this trainer, but he's going to have to beat better horses in this race. And I also think that being aggressive last time helped him. And with the presence of Thomas Shelby, as well as the number 3 Seafoam, this guy ain't seeing a lead unless horses.
Butch had a hell of a year last year. This horse was part of it. Just streaking into this. Gets the extra week, so he's here. Another 3 turning 4. He's beaten older horses before. I think he could be forward in here. Maybe he's not on the front end. I think he could be forward. I think he could make a little noise in here late.
What do you like about Bourbonic?
You know, I think Bourbonic had the perfect prep last time.
You know that I put the stat up last week that Todd Pletcher, second off of a layoff, of the kind of layoff he came off of last year, stretching out as terrible numbers, just so you know.
Maybe that's why he scratched.
Yeah, but he's running in the same situation.
Yeah. All 3 of his wins have come in Aqueduct. He's 3 for 6 here. He's 0 for 8 else. He's 0 for 7 elsewhere. I thought he had a useful prep last time out. He'll probably take money because he was a Memorial winner, and you'll lose a little value there. But I'll use him a little bit in the pick 5.
Race number 10, and I'm warning you right now, Linda. If I find out that Hot Fudge wasn't a vet scratch, you're going to incur my wrath because I loved Hot Fudge.
Well, maybe not want to run off the layoff on a wet track.
Wet track. It's muddy and harrowed. It'll be good to fast by then.
Some trainers don't like
It'll
to
be good
do
to
it,
fast
Andy.
by then. It'll be good by fast. If that's your excuse, Linda, come up with a better one when I see you. Funny How was going to be a heavy favorite in this race.
Should be.
Horse ran an 85 buyer last time. They knew this horse was going to win last time. I'm not exactly sure how. Horse has got a perfect trip to win the prior 2 races. Got another perfect trip in here. Maybe this horse will keep getting perfect trips. I'm not taking this horse.
Were you and I together with egg on our face the second? Did you like her at all when she won the allowance 2 back? Or did we both knock her?
I'm not sure. Was I don't. No, I didn't like her at all.
We didn't like her at all, right?
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't here last time. Was I here last?
Yeah.
Feel like I don't think I was.
No, that could have been Lucy's birthday.
No, birthday's in May. I'm thinking Thanksgiving. I must have been here, but I don't remember that race at all. I must have left. Probably didn't like last time. Horse ran a big fig. You're saying won't be favored because of the switch to Katie Davis?
Oh, no, this horse will be overwhelming favorite.
Right. Well, I mean, are they going to bet on Yo Cuz? I do not like Yo Cuz. I scratched the Yo Cuz for 3rd because Linda scratched the horse who was going to win the race, Hot Fudge. I don't like this horse at all. This horse has gotten absolutely lucky when this horse won, was able to walk on the front end, horse is getting left. Something went badly wrong. They did scratch this horse out of a stake. I'm not saying she has no ability, but she has been very dressed up in her races, but I guess she could win here.
Yeah, first time Lasix because she's been exclusively in stakes company after her debut, which was a 2-year-old, so she couldn't have Lasix that day either. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to do with her.
She can win. She's obviously was running fast enough numbers. I've got her 3rd. I'm just not a big fan of hers, and she's been off for a long time. Barn's been going very well. I scratched into Dame Cinco. I don't like scratching into horses. Dame Cinco.
Give me 5.
A very, very live trainer. This horse is in good form. I don't particularly like this horse. I liked Hot Fudge. She was my 2nd horse at a price, to be honest with you, because I didn't want to take Funny How at a short price, and I don't particularly like Yo Cuz. I scratched her on the top because Linda scratched the horse that was going to win the race. Okay. But you better have you better have a good reason when I see you, because I'm very annoyed. Maybe it was a vet scratch.
I hope she says it was a wet track.
I'm very annoyed. That was. No, I don't. Because I don't want to lose respect for her. Well, then I'll lose all respect for her.
But why would you
I have a
lose
lot of respect for
her?
her.
A lot of trainers just don't like to.
It's gibberish. A lot of trainers believe a lot of things that they shouldn't believe.
Not gibberish.
I hold her to a higher standard of trainer speak crap.
Andy, I don't know what was wrong with the horse, but she's been on a year.
It's a muddy, harrowed track at
Doesn't matter.
11:15. 5 hours from now on a sunny day, Linda Rice has been around long enough to know there ain't going to be much moisture in this track.
Okay.
I'm not going to keep debating it. Most trainers don't. The smart trainers that win don't believe the voodoo. Anyway,
It's not voodoo.
It's voodoo. You think it's not? I think it's voodoo. I don't just think it's voodoo. I know it's voodoo.
You can think all you want.
It's all voodoo. It's voodoo.
They're a vets.
Yeah, I know.
There are vets and
lots
vet
of people
books
around
that
racetracks
go
that
back
believe a lot of
50 years that
crazy.
tell you
There are a
about
lot of
the-
people around the racetrack that believe a lot of crazy stuff. I get it. They're the ones who throw them over.
Science,
They
Andy.
throw them over
It's
the
the
over the
science.
barn
You're a
when they geld
science
them.
guy.
I know it. They
It's
do
the
all sorts of
science.
dumb things around the track.
It's the
I don't
science.
agree.
It's the science until it's not the science.
Yeah, it's the science. Analytics still taking a while to creep into horse racing. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, no better time than the present. Use the promo code MATCH200. We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Keep the money in the game. We have a pick six carryover. $24,924 begins in race number 5 on today's 10 race card, which will commence in about 33 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. We've got an extra pick 4. Pick 4s in races 2, 4, and 7.
2, 4, 7.
10 race card, in case we haven't mentioned that. We also have a $15 bonus, we have 50 each on Aqueduct, Oaklawn, and Santa Anita. And I mean, Santa Anita. How can you not watch Santa Anita?
Shams tomorrow, not today.
Really?
Yeah.
Really excited about the Sham.
One trainer has 4 horses in the Sham.
Well, he's got a lot of the 2-year-olds. At least he runs them. I don't have a problem with that. At least he runs them. I don't get on that thing. He's still, at least, people complain they have too many horses, but then they run them.
I'm not complaining.
No,
I'm
I
just
know
making
you're
it
not.
up.
I know. But it's Bob Aver's such a trigger for people on Twitter. It's so funny. 2:30 to 6 o'clock, Saturday, January 7th. It is so hilarious, the things that trigger people on Twitter. January 7th, today, otherwise known as today, 2:30 to 6,
That is
here
today.
and Oaklawn. I just figured that out. We're done. You're just starting. Have a great day. Chris Griffin up next with a reprise, the Scratches and Changes.